Are you thinking about moving to Kona or just curious about the pros and the cons of living in Hawaii? Then this video is for you. I'm going to break down the pros and the cons about living in Kona, Hawaii. Aloha everybody, this is Todd with livingInKona.com, and today I wanted to talk about the 5 pros and the 5 cons of living in Kona, Hawaii. Now these are just my personal experiences after living here for 20 years, but I wanted to share them with you so that you could make an informed decision about living in Kona, Hawaii. So with that said, let's do it. Pro number 1, the weather. Hawaii's world famous for having the best weather on the planet, and with warm, year-round temperatures of around 78 degrees, the Kona coast of the Big Island is no exception. And it's easy to see why people from all over the world want to come here to vacation, and people want to relocate and move here to the best weather on the planet. And being on the leeward side of the island, which is on the west coast, we benefit from many more sunny days and fewer rainy days. Pro number 2, outdoor activities. With the big blue Pacific Ocean as our backyard, this place is an absolute paradise for anyone who likes to swim, fish, kayak, stand-up paddleboard, scuba, snorkel, surf, bodyboard, body surf. I mean, you name it, you can do it here. This place is an absolute paradise for ocean lovers. But don't get me wrong, there's also amazing hundreds and hundreds of miles of hiking up Mauna Kea and Mauna Loa, and we have endless miles of coastline to explore as well. Petroglyph fields and old monuments and old temples of ancient Hawaii are here, and they're all yours. You just got to get out and go check them out. Pro number 3, the beauty of the Big Island of Hawaii. So including the Kona coast, the Hamakua coast, and the Hilo coast, Puna coast, and the Ka'u coast that make up the Big Island of Hawaii, it probably has some of the most raw beauty in the entire world. Natural wonders of the volcanoes and the erupting lava, all the way to the rolling green fields and pasture land of Waimea and northern Hawaii. We really have an amazing diversity of geography that is suited towards explorers and adventurers and hikers and photographers. And the beauty is just astounding. You find yourself just peering out in a daze, looking at this amazing wonderland. Pro number 4, beaches. While the Big Island of Hawaii has some of the best beaches and most famous beaches in the world, like Hapuna Beach and Kua Bay, they tend to be very crowded because they're known all around the world through vlogs and photographs and documentaries. But one of the greatest secrets about living here is all of the hidden beaches where you can literally be the only one at that beach during the day. It's just a fantastic experience, and you can have everything from black sand to charcoal gray sand, powder white sand. There's a little something for everyone. And pro number 5, the Aloha Spirit and the melting pot of cultures that we have here on the Big Island of Hawaii. It's truly something special. And while we have this amazing, diverse landscape that leaves you in awe, and beaches where you can rest and relax all day long, miles of hiking trails, ocean experiences galore, the one thing that we have here that is really underlying everything is the spirit of aloha, the spirit of giving, the spirit of service, the spirit of community. Aloha is love, and we have every culture known to man living in peace and love on this island. So if you respect culture and you respect diversity, Big Island of Hawaii and the Kona coast and Kona, Hawaii is definitely a place for you. Con number 1, the cost of living. While Hawaii is a dream place to relocate and live for many people, it's also extremely challenging for students, retirees, and people relocating from other parts of the mainland where they're not used to having exorbitant gas prices, food prices, and prices of housing. Everything that we have here, because we are so isolated on the island, is going to be much more expensive than you're going to find on the mainland in general. And while that can be a negative, it's just something that you have to prepare and budget for prior to moving over to the Kona coast. Con number 2, traffic. If you're like most people, you dread the thought of sitting in stop-and-go congestion. Well, the Big Island of Hawaii, at times, is very similar. We only have one main highway, a 2-lane road that circumnavigates the entire island. So during the morning rush hour, the student pickup in the afternoon, and the evening rush hour, it can feel very similar to being stuck in traffic where you live right now. However, typically we only have wait times of about 5 or 10 minutes, whereas most people commuting on the mainland might have an hour or two. Con number 3, isolation. While Hawaii is a beautiful island chain sitting out in the middle of the Pacific Ocean, it is just that, sitting in the middle of the Pacific Ocean. And the Big Island of Hawaii is the largest, most remote landmass on the face of the earth. So if you're looking to get away from everything, this is definitely the spot to do it. But if you're used to visiting the grandkids, talking to your neighbors and having get-togethers on the weekend, or frequent traveling, that's not going to happen anytime soon if you move here. It's very difficult to get off the island, and many people people we see leave within living only a few years here because they miss that type of family and social interaction. Con number 4, acceptance of newcomers. While Hawaii is the birthplace of aloha and is a melting pot of cultures, newcomers can find it very hard to kind of fit in to the existing community. And that isn't because the locals are mean or nasty. It's that they've seen so many people come in from the outside and exploit Hawaii, or they've seen people move here, love living here, create relationships, and then move back to the mainland after only 3 to 5 years. And so it's that sense of community and that wanting to protect the aina, the land here in Hawaii, that makes it a little bit difficult for newcomers to kind of work their way into the social fabric. But all I tell them is respect the culture, respect the people, and don't rush it. Take your time to get to know people. And last con number 5, natural disasters. Here on the Big Island, we have everything from erupting volcanoes, hurricanes, earthquakes, floods, torrential rains, you name it, we've got it. Except snakes, we do not have snakes. But as for natural disasters, we have our fill. As a matter of fact, since 2018 alone, there's been 5 major natural disasters just on the Big Island of Hawaii. However, if you are prepared and you've studied and you have your go kits and your bug out bags and everything that you need to stay safe and protect your family, you can easily make it through these natural disasters unscathed and come out ahead. If you're liking the information that I'm sharing about Kona Hawaii, my home, and maybe your home someday, please feel free to subscribe to the content and to leave comments. Let me know what you're thinking. And if you really are interested in maybe relocating or finding out what's going on in the Kona real estate market, feel free to give me a call. All of my information is in the description below. Well, that wraps up my 5 pros and 5 cons about living in Kona, Hawaii. You know, honestly, there's pros and cons anywhere you live in the world. And some of those pros and some of those cons are what makes places especially unique and special. That goes double for Kona, Hawaii. So if you enjoy this type of content or want to learn more about Kona, Hawaii, the real estate market, or what it takes to move to Hawaii, please feel free to give me a call, connect with me and the information that's down in the description. Leave a comment if you want to see me cover something in the next video, and I really thank you for your time. Aloha and a hui hou.